Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Kevin Hall, and I am a student at Northeastern University, student physical therapist. And me and my group are all doing a sport just to enlighten everyone about an adaptive sport. And the one I have is adaptive tennis. So, hopefully, you guys learn a lot from this. And yeah, so a little bit about adaptive tennis and how it began. So, tennis as a whole, we're looking at more than 15 million Americans playing. Ranging from young children to elders aged 80, which means that it's a wide spectrum of populations who play tennis, and so no one's really counted out or anything like that. It's fine with all age groups, which is perfect. It's very interactive on and off the courts. It's a very social sport, and in this time and age with COVID and stuff, tennis seems to be the perfect sport because it's each person is more than 6 feet apart from each other, which is very ideal in this time and age. And it's a very flexible gameplay. A lot of rules can be modified to your liking. More of that to come later on the slides, but yeah, it's still very highly competitive. Lots of people compete for it, and to move on to the next point, it was officially adapted tennis specifically. It was officially recognized as a Paralympic sport in 1988, and there were more than 100 competitors in the Rio Paralympics in 2016. So and a quote here from US athlete David Wagner just stated that it's very inclusive of all disabilities, whether you are standing or sitting. And so, it doesn't have to be, a person with a power wheelchair versus another person with a power wheelchair. It can be, you can be versing an able-bodied person and still be highly competitive amongst each other. So that's great. So how do you play? So there are, general rules of tennis where, if you're interested in tennis, you probably know the rules already. But, I've linked a manual down below in the future slides. So, hold off on that. But, if you were to know the rules, pretty much the only difference between, regular tennis and adaptive tennis is that the ball can bounce twice on each side. And so, you have more time to react and stuff like that. But, if you're talking about the racket, um, based on the site, it says ideally you should hold the racket while leaving the heel of the hand open to push the wheelchair. So what we're looking at is your dominant hand, four fingers on the racket, and your thumb is open along with your palm of your hand. So you're holding the racket right here, and you're using this side of the hand just to really push that wheel forward. And obviously your free hand is, you know, all on the wheel trying to move it. And as for returning serves, it's slightly different from able-bodied players. Um, you know, being on a wheelchair is definitely different from standing and running. And they have something called the hub, which is pretty much the ideal spot where you should be after you return a hit, and it is 5 feet behind the baseline. And a quote here says, "For wheelchair users, that's the effective way to play behind the baseline because you can come in for shots or go wide for a second bounce." And so, ideally, you will want to be at the hub when you're returning hits, as it is the ideal spot. And again, similar rules of tennis, but the only difference is that the ball can bounce twice on each side. So how do you get involved? Um, so there are many like chapters across the country. One being, well, associations rather. One being is the Disabled Sports USA chapters, another being the United States Tennis Association, and the last one would be the United States Paralympics. Um, you know, each association has lots of chapters in it. I provided some links right here, and if you just copy and paste the link, it'll bring you to that web page, and it has a lot of programs from anywhere across the country. They have their website, their Facebook, their Twitters, and whatnot, and so you can definitely contact them through these websites. And I will give you this PowerPoint at the end. So, what strength and abilities do you need? Um, well, based on the site, it says you need to react, negotiate, and recover. React being just being able to react to the ball and move towards the ball whenever the ball comes to your side. Quickly read where you think the ball is going to go and then go that direction. And negotiating is pretty much another word for hitting the ball. And obviously you gotta know proper stroke mechanics for that, and recovering, which is after you hit a ball, you have to recover back to the hub, the ideal spot, so you can reset all again and hopefully keep up rallies that way. And just two quotes right here saying, one saying, remember to get a quick start, stay in constant motion, and lead with the head. And the other being, the most important part is to turn with your head because your body follows. Excuse me. Learn to push with the heel of your hand so the racket is up and ready. Retreat back at an angle so you can watch your opponent over your shoulder. Some really good advice here. And some general recommendations. Since it is an adaptive sport, it's kind of assumed that you already have a power wheelchair of some sort. So this is just really for reference if you don't have one. It's $2,000 to $3,000 for one. I provided a link right here. Second. That lists all the different kinds of power wheelchairs you can order. And other general recommendations. Tennis courts, you can kind of reduce the playing area depending on your population group and how much they can work with in terms of how far they can go and stuff like that. You can lower the tennis nets and portable nets, and some people use a swing tee stand just for stroke mechanics. If you want to practice your strokes. And as for the tennis ball size, people usually use regular tennis ball sizes, but there are larger ones where they're easier to hit, and you can create longer rallies that way. But typically people use normal tennis ball sizes, and Amazon is relatively cheap. It's $15 for 18 balls, which is more than enough tennis balls. As for rackets, they come in a variety of sizes, and it ranges from $20, which is relatively cheap, to $200, which is like the premium ones. So you can just buy like a $20 racket and go with that. And they come in normal size. They come in shorter, smaller, lighter sizes for those who can't hold the normal size. And some people actually use athletic tape and gripping devices too, just to really enhance that grip, especially since you'll be using that grip where your forefingers are holding the racket and you have to hold it like this, which is pretty tough. So that can definitely help. As for resources in the community, you can always contact local schools, university or colleges. The resources provided previously, sports clubs and gyms, just, you can hit up any of them, and, they potentially might have, used rackets where they can just donate to you guys. There's always a chance for that. And self-resources, you can always do fundraisers. Some ideas that I have are bake sales, sports tournaments, design challenges, raffles, which is a big one, gaming tournaments, goodie bags, and self-care kits. So back in my undergrad college days, I did a lot of these fundraisers, and most of these got a lot of profit. And specifically speaking for raffles, who wouldn't want to win a $300 prize? Raffles are really good. Gaming tournaments also found success in. Goodie bags, it's pretty much everything listed here. I found success in back in my undergrad days. And that is it. So everything I found, everything I talked about in this PowerPoint, or most rather, is from this source, moveunitedsport.org. So I thank this website for providing me all that information. And some general rules of tennis. For normal tennis, there is a link right here provided that I found online, which is really useful. And as for the adaptive tennis rules, it was provided earlier. And just the Boston Self-Help Center, if you really want to contact them for this video and stuff like that. The email here is provided here, and the phone number is right here. And I just want to thank you all for watching, and have a great day.